the light of the flame of republicanism, which reached Goa and has had an impact on our own cultural ethos. And we have these amazing speeches that he made. In a time of slavery, in a time of colonialism, Francisco Lewis Gomes stood up in Europe and made all these amazing statements. And that cultural strand of a certain fearlessness, a certain openness to the world, the ability to stand on one's own feet and one's own rootedness, but take in the stance of the entire world, is something that does still survive in our culture. And today, we are honoring and celebrating someone whose roots lie very close to where Francisco Lewis Gomes comes from. That is our own Damodar Mauzo. This is the first opportunity that we have to celebrate Bhai's victory of the Jnanpith, the winning of the Jnanpith Award for 2022. Big hand, please, for Damodar Mauzo. Very proud to be able. It's a tremendous honor, Bhai, for the inaugural Small People's Festival of Ideas under this eccentric but hopefully working community curation. It's a great honor that you've done us by permitting the launching of your new book, and I would like to please welcome you on stage with Mr. Arvind Bhatikar, who's going to be launching the book, as well as Prashanti Talvankar and our own Jerry Pinto. Please join us on stage.
Sorry.
Not at all. Can I help?
Must think I'm used to it. Yes.
Now we can hold his hand.
Shall we ask
Thank you so much for joining us on stage. Also a reminder, we also noticed it with Salil Chaturvedi, that our venues are still not suitably accessible. Even this one, which does have a ramp to come in, is not properly accessible, neither is the whole GMC. So I'd like to apologize for that. Can I have tech help here, please? Tech, please. Shanti, shall I give you the mic? You take it or shall I?
Yes, let the book be out first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please do the honors and can we launch the book? Jerry? Mr. Bhatikar? Prashanti? The Weight and Other Stories by Damodar Mauzo, translated by Xavier Potter.
So the wait is over.
Yeah.
And the wait has begun.
Now I request our dear friend who has served this country as an IAS officer, as a bureaucrat, but for the last more than 20 years he is back home in Goa and serving, giving his best services for the development of language and literature of Konkani in Goa. Mr. Arvind Bhatikar.
भयणीनो, तुमकां सगळ्यांक नमस्कार. भाईचे हे कितल्यावे पुस्तक रे?
इंग्लिशीन सातवे.
इंग्लिशीन 7वें पुस्तक. इंग्लिशीन 7वें पुस्तक लोकार्पण, पुस्तकाचे लोकार्पण करतना म्हाका भोव खोस जाल्या. भाईचे पुस्तक खंयचेच लोकार्पण करपाची म्हाका अजून मेरेन काही संद मेळूंक नाशिल्ली. ही संद मातशी जेवन न्हिदून उठून मातशी बेगीन मेळ्ळी म्हूण सपाटो चडटा देंवता आसतना मातशें कन्फ्युजन जालें. तरी आसतना ही संद म्हाका दिल्ल्या बद्दल भाईक आनीक ह्या सुवाळ्याच्या नाळवंडाराक आनी तुमकां सगळ्यांक देव बरें करूं म्हणटा. हांव चड उलयना, हांगा चडश्यो हे प्रक्रिया इंग्लिशींतल्यान जातात, पूण म्हाका कोंकणींतल्यान उलोवपाची आवड म्हणून हांव कोंकणींतल्यान उलयतां. खेरीज हांगा जमल्याक ते सगळे गोंयकार अशे धरता आनी सगळ्याक कोंकणी समजता अशें हांव धरता. जरी थोडे उलोवपाक येना जाली तरी पूण सगळ्याक समजता अशें धरता. आज हे पुस्तक, ह्या पुस्तकाचे लोकार्पण करून ट्रान्सलेशनाचे महत्व कितले आसा हे लोकांक समजतले. अणकार हो कित्याक जाय तर बरयले म्हणून जायना, एकदम बरें बरयले म्हणून जायना, पूण ते लोकां मेरेन पावंक जाय. आनी ते गोंयचे पेल्यान लोकां मेरेन पावतलो जाल्यार ताचे वेगळे वेगळे भाशांनी अणकार जावंक जाय. गोंयांत, गोंयच्या मातयेंत, गोंयच्या कोंकणी साहित्यांत खुबशे हिरे आसात, डायमंड्स. ते मातयेंत आसात, लोकांक दिसनात. ते माती ताची धुवन काडून ते डायमंड्सांक पॉलिश करून ते जगाचे शोरुमांत जर दवरले मागीर लोकांक दिश्टी पडटात. ते काम लेखक थोडे करतात, थोडे करनात. आमच्या भाईक ते लोकां मुखार दवरपाक सक्सेसफुली जमला. ताणें ते बरें आपले जे साहित्य आसा, आपले जे कर्तूब आसा, आपले ज्यो क्वॉलिटीज आसा बरोवपाच्यो, त्यो बऱ्यो धुवन पुसून चक्क करून हिऱ्याक भशेन चकचकीत करून लोकां मुखार दवरल्यात आनी लोकांचे ताचेर लक्ष गेलां. लोकांचे ताचेर लक्ष गेले म्हणून लोकांनी म्हणले दिस इज एन एक्सलंट book or excellent literature and we will be giving or we are giving the Jnanpith Award, the best literary award in the country to Konkani author Bhai Mauzo. This is the best literary award in the country, not only in Goa. वो कोंकणी honor, Bhai Mauzo honor आणि Bhai Mauzoचे इष्टमित्र आम्ही फ्रेंड्स जाल्ल्यान आमकां सगळ्यांक वो honor. शेत एक आमच्या गोंयांत खुबशे आसा, पुंडलीक नायक आसा, मागीर महाबळेश्वर सैल आसा, उदय भेंब्रे आसा, खुबशे बरे बरे ऑथर्स आसा. आनी ऑथर ऑफ दॅट इज रायटर ऑफ एसेज, रायटर ऑफ पोएट्री, पोएट्स, रायटर्स ऑफ नॉवेल्स, रायटर्स ऑफ शॉर्ट स्टोरीज, खुबशे मल्टीफेरियस हे क्वॉलिफाईड लोक आसात. सगळे बरयतात, पूण थोड्यांचेच साहित्य सारखे भायर पावता कारण ट्रान्सलेट जायना. आमी ट्रान्सलेशनाचेर लक्ष दिवपाक जाय. गोंयांतच जर बरें बरयतलो आनी गोंयकारांनी वाचतले आनी दिल्ली मेरेन पावतले कोंकणींतल्यान जाल्यार ट्रान्सलेशनाची गरज ना. पूण गोंयच्या भायर खंयचे राज्यांत पावतलो वा भारताच्या भायर जर पावतलो जायत जाल्यार ट्रान्सलेशनाची गरज आसा. गोंय सरकार पुस्तकांक आनी साहित्याक खुबशे एनकरेजमेंट दिता, खुबशे प्रोत्साहन दिता. आमी कोणे पुस्तकां बरयली जाल्यार ती विकपाक प्रोत्साहन दिता, विकते घेता. पूण ट्रान्सलेट करपाक गोंयचे सरकार कांयच करना. गोंयच्या सरकारान गोवा कोंकणी एकेडमीक धरात, नाल्यार आर्ट एंड कल्चर डिपार्टमेंटाक धरात, नाल्यार इन्स्टिट्यूट धरात, हांकां चड ग्रांट दिवन बाबा तुमी कोंकणींतल्यान हेर भाशांतल्यान ट्रान्सलेट पुस्तकां करून घेवन ती जगभर वितरायात, जगभर सगळी पातळायात अशें सांगून तांकां एनकरेजमेंट दिवपा खातीर चड पयशे इल्ले खर्च करचे अशी ह्या वेळार म्हाका तांचेर विनंती आसा. हांगा जर कोणी पत्रकार आसत तांणी तांकां पब्लिसिटी दिवची आनी गोंय सरकाराचे मातशे दोळे उगडचे. आजच तुम्ही न्यूजपेपरात वाचले जातले गीतांजली श्री म्हणजे तिका बुकर प्राइज अवॉर्ड मेळा. राती आम्ही सगळ्यांनी अस्मिता प्रतिष्ठानच्या वांगड्यांनी एकडे मिळून बाईक फेलिसिटेट केलो. बाईक पण बी दिली, आमचोच पण दिसतो, आमचेच भितरलो. तेन्ना हांवें म्हणिल्लें की देशांतलो सर्वोच्च अवॉर्ड ताका मेळ्ळो. आता इंटरनॅशनल पातळीचेर ताणें वचूंक जाय, ताणें ताका बुकर मेळपाक जाय, पुलित्झर मेळपाक जाय. आनी अखेरेक जर देवान दये केली, बरें आयुश्य दिलें, आरोग्य दिलें जाल्यार नोबेल प्राइज वचून ताका मेळपाक जाय अशें हांवें म्हणिल्लें. आज सकाळी फुडें म्हाका त्या बुकर प्राइजा विशीं माहिती वाचपाक मेळ्ळी. म्हणटच म्हाका दिसलें योगायोग जे भाईक सांगता ते भाईन वाचलेंच जातलें आनी भाईचे तकले जायले जातले. गीतांजली श्रीक हिंदींतल्यान बरयल्यार मेळटा जाल्यार म्हाका कोंकणींतल्यान बरयल्यार कित्याक मेळपा नाका. भाई तुका बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर बुकर प्राइज, बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर पुलित्झर प्राइज आणि गॉड विलिंग बेस्ट ऑफ लक फॉर द नोबेल प्राइज. तुमकां सगळ्यांक माझे शांतपणान आयकून घेतले बद्दल देव बरें करूं आणि हे जाळवणदारांकय म्हाका आपयले बद्दल देव बरें करूं. नमस्कार.
देव बरें करूं अरविंद बाब. आणि तुमच्या तोंडान दूध, दही, साखर सगळें. कारण कशें आसा, खूब लोक भाईक वेगळ्या वेगळ्या तरेन मानतात. अमिताभ घोष म्हणटा की he is most important literary voice as well as ambassador to literary world. गुलजारजी म्हणटा की चेकोव ऑफ कोंकणी लिटरेचर. आणि आम्ही सगळे गोंयकार तो आमचो भाई, फक्त भाई म्हणटात. आणि त्या भाईक जर नोबेल प्राइज मेळ्ळें वा आनी खंयचेय इंटरनॅशनल प्राइज मेळ्ळें जाल्यार आमच्या खातीर तो आमचोच अवॉर्ड अशें दिसतलें. भाई हांव चड वेळ काडना कारण आमचे कडेन सामको कमी, म्हणजे फक्त अर्दवर आसा आनी 2 जाणां सामकी बॅटिंग करपाक रावल्यात. भाईचे जे कथा आसा, भाई बेसिकली हिज कोर इज रायटिंग शॉर्ट स्टोरीज अँड हिज स्टोरीज आर लायक very intrinsically woven and lot of he covers everything. He will cover urban, rural, he will cover special people, then farmers. There is not a single topic which he has not covered. And the way he designs it and his characters, they come alive. And many directors have told me that we would like to and they have converted his stories into cinema. So म्हाका भाई तुमकां एक विचारपाक जाय, हे सामके सूत्रबद्ध अशे तुम्ही जी कथानक आणि तांची जे हिरो आणि हिरोईनी आसा त्यो कश्यो तयार करतात. आणि एक गजाल, त्या कॅरेक्टरांचे सगळे कशे आसता, कोणच नथिंग इज गुड ऑर बॅड, त्या प्रमाणे कॅरेक्टरां कशी आसता आपल्या पद्दतीन तांकां आमी वाचली जाल्यार कोणाचेच चुकूंक नाशें जाता. आता द वेटान आणि बाकीच्यो स्टोरी आसा तातूंत इतले प्लॉट्स आसा, तातूंतलो एकच सांगता, एक बायल आपल्या भावाक सोडून दुसऱ्या दादल्या बरोबर वता, पण हो लेखक ताका कांयच म्हणना, त्या बायलेक कांयच म्हणना. म्हणजे हे सगळे तुम्ही कशे करतात? व्हॉट इज युअर प्रोसेस ऑफ डुईंग इट? व्हॉट इज युअर आयडिया ऑर आयडियोलॉग बिहाइंड इट?
Very good evening to all of you. म्हाका एक टेम्पटेशन जाता कोंकणींतल्यानच व्हरून तुमचे कडेन कम्युनिकेट करपाक, पण हांव अवॉयड करता इतल्या खातीर की हांव सकाळच्यान पळयतां चडशे लोक गोंयकार थोडे आनी गोंया भायल्यान आयिल्ले तांकां कोंकणी कळना अशे लोक चड आसात. तरी आसतना आतां तुमकां कोंकणीचो रोस दायित्व दिल्लो आसा अरविंद बाबान आनी प्रशांतीनय. So I would rather prefer to answer this question in English. Well, friends, I'm very happy that yet another book of collection of short stories is being launched here today in the august presence of the Sahitya Rasik, the kind of you are here. I don't think I'm a different kind of writer. All writers follow the same practice. Of course, sometimes the process of writing differs from writer to writer. When I say I complete a story at one writing, some people say, wow. Some people say, what? You don't have to rewrite? What does it mean? That means you are satisfied with what you have given once, what you have written once. Well, there are two sides of it. Every writer follows his own process, and I stick to mine. I live in Madoda. Madoda is a village. We can call it a suburban, say semi-urban location, where majority of my neighborhood is Catholic, and I am brought up in the same milieu. Well, I never felt the factor, the othering factor, because I have brought up in such a way. I have played football with my friends, never looking at his face whether he is a Hindu or Catholic. But then I never felt also othered by my friends. So that is what appears in my writings. The characters, all characters are known to me. I ran a shop until 9.5 years back. I'm basically a shopkeeper. I don't have any post-graduation degree. I have not been any academic profession, but I'm content by living in a village and serving the needs of the village by running a shop which caters to most of the needs of the villagers. And during this process, though of course I looked at it as a means of living, but still the writer within me always kept on noticing the differences between person to person, or sometimes probing into their own life and their life and finding out why he behaves like this. Even if somebody comes and shouts at me or gives some bad words, I don't get irritated. I try to find out what wrong that I have committed which has prompted him to give me bad words. So I tried in a way to go into his mind to find out why is he behaving like this. Not only with me, with others too. And I have always liked the people of my village. I don't know, unfortunately, hardly there is anybody who has been to my village or who knows about the background of my village. I don't know whether Duttor is there. Yes, I'm very happy that Advocate Radharao is here, he is my neighbor. But I have written about Mingal Road. Mingal Road is not a theatrist Mingal Road. Mingal Road was a character, a madman who used to stand in the street and, you would perform aerobatics and also you would sing. He was a constant singer, 24 hours a day he would sing. And that is the reason why he was called Mingal Road by the people of my village. But that man, why did he become mad? Why is he behaving like this? Mingal Road was a madman, but he was revered, I would say, and loved by each and every one of my villagers. Why so? So what is the difference between the others? We had another man, I don't know whether remembers it. There was one Eric, who was stout and slightly, muscle. One very naughty kind of person. He would try to rob Mingal Road's money, but Mingal Road only fought with him when the time came. But then people always sided Mingal Road. So these characters always have an appeal for me. Not only at Mingal Road, but there are others also. And they somehow, rather, they want me to write them. Not only the characters, even the stories. I have never written a story. It is the story who comes to me and gets itself written by me. That is why I honestly believe in, because even tomorrow if you tell me, I have Vivek here, Vivek always says, why such and such magazine, they pay very well. You write a story for them, I can't. But someday a story will suddenly appear, then I'm very eager to get it printed, to see it in print. It happens. So it is not that I deliberately write, but stories come to me and get themselves written. That is what I believe.
So from what Bhai has said, I feel the ingredients are, you have to be non-judgmental, you have to be observant, you have to have a little bit of humor, you have to have understanding for human beings, and that is when you can be a writer of Bhai's stature. Am I right, Bhai? So, I know you have a writer within you, but you also are a fighter. And I know that things which you cannot write in a short story or a novel, I think that's why you wrote the Descent, Ink of Descent, critical writings on languages, literature and freedom. Why did you feel like writing that book?
Passing on. Anyway, well, there are some things, my political ideology or thoughts which I cannot express through literature. Then I take to writing articles, which were they are meant to be published in dailies, in Times of India, in Loving Times, or in Herald, or any other magazine. Or sometimes I am invited to speak on any particular topic. Then I prepare myself, and then I thought these articles and the speeches remain in my files. And one day, when Jose Lorenzo, my friend, he found them, he saw them in big number. He said, "Shall I take them with me?" I said, "Oh," I said, "Okay, take it." So he took them, assorted them, and finally the book Ink of Descent has been published. There are 2 more books which are waiting to get edited and then published. But why I said Ink of Descent are my political thoughts, which I could not express powerfully through my stories. Though I believe the stories is the best medium to pass on your views and your ideas. But then those stories, those thoughts or those ideas which could not enter in my stories, for them I have chosen to write the articles and other essays. So that is why Ink of Descent. Thank you.
Some young student has told me to ask this question on his behalf. There were threats, death threats, and now you have security. Don't you get scared? This is the question, not my question, but one of the students.
Well, I don't think. You see, people who give threat, they are the cowards. I am not a coward. I am threatened because I pursue my views. I am honest to my views. I am honest with my ideas. So I don't want to be carried away or threatened by anybody else. So these people have to give the threats because they are scared. So it doesn't matter whether I am given security or not, whether I am given protection or not. I don't think. The bodyguard by my side is a bit of obstruction for me. Definitely, I would prefer not to have security, but as long as they want it, I can't say no.
When I talked to Bhai about this once, about him having security, he told me about the security person who was with him. He told me his life story. He told me about the kind of person who was given this security detail. He told me about the bribery and corruption that moves around police circles. So in some strange way, I think this policeman will probably feature in a story somewhere. And what the people who threatened him did, sent him a story.
Because sometimes these security people, they prefer to be in the security or to become the bodyguard because it is not lucrative. And they are the simple kind of people who cannot ask for bribes. So they don't get prime positions. So they are happy to be with me rather than go into the kind of practices. So that is additional, and the other side of this point.
And that I think I had never thought of.
in the sense that you say to yourself, oh gosh, Bhai now has a policeman with him all the time, how constricting. But it brings you to an awareness of why Bhai is a story magnet. I think if you are respectful of the person behind the position, whatever position it is, whether it is the position of the farmer or the bodyguard or the taxi driver, if you are willing to listen to their stories, the stories will come to you. But you're willing to listen. And to be willing to listen is to give the self a backseat.
I fully agree. Writers' antennas should always be on. You cannot put your antennas off and think of being a writer.
फिर भी आप किस मिट्टी के बने हो? Because I have seen, every time I see him, a small cartoon comes in front of me, a man who falls down, just brushes, gets up, brushes himself, gets up, walks, falls down, again, gets up. He got heart attack once. After that, he got no one, I don't think I know any other men who have got breast cancer. This man got this breast cancer, then he got COVID, and he stops for a while during that time, but I think even during cancer time, I've seen him working. How do you manage to do all this? इसीलिए पूछा किस मिट्टी के बने हो?
Yeah, I'm not the only one to get these ailments. There are many. I'm happy that, I think, I don't wish that everybody should get. All these ailments that came my way have helped me to grow, rather, to become richer. So many experiences. When I was on the operation table, the doctor came to me. He knew that I am a writer. By the way, my cancer specialist, Dr. Barre, he is my reader. I'm so proud of him. But suddenly a doctor comes and says, I have brought your book. I need your autograph after the session.
It's a good way to give it.
Yes, so good.
हौसला बनाने के लिए good way. After surgery, you will be signing books again. Nice thing to do.
Another thing, as I was going for my multiple bypass, I had 5 blocks. And then as I was going there, the same day, earlier day, I received a letter to attend a seminar of Sahit Academy in Cochin. And I was in Tata Hospital in Mumbai. And I knew my family would say no, because the surgery was in September, in November was the seminar. So before going to the operation theatre, I asked doctor in front of my wife, doctor, I received this letter. How many weeks do I have to take the rest? He said 6 weeks. Okay. In November, I have to attend this seminar. Should I go? He was said, certainly you can go. Then I told him to tell my wife. then I did go. Sometimes I had a meeting in Cochin after my breast cancer surgery, and I have this, tubes with collecting seroma, the blood and water seroma, and I had to keep the seroma bag in pouch in my bag, my pocket. And every half an hour I had to empty it in some basin. And I never bothered about it. But I went to Cochin without problem, within a month.
I was there with him for the meeting, and after he told us, after the entire thing was over, he told us, and I was so ashamed of myself. It was about 3-hour meeting, and all of us were squirming and just, saying, excuse me, I want to go out. And this one was just sitting very quietly, very patiently, and, discussing. That's where I thought, and for me, he's an idol. Because, you can learn so many things from him.
Yeah, actually, I am learning from you all. Frankly, by the way, the man to my left, Jerry Pinto, whom I have great respect as a writer, and a lot of affection as my friend and as a boycott. I tell you, I don't know. I am not a special friend for him.
No. I will talk about
Jerry befriends anybody, whether he is young, and I have learned that from him. This is the way I learn. I keep learning from others, and that is what has made me a writer. What writer must have is love for others, compassion for others. Love, not lust. Many people mistake love for lust. They write romantic stories. When I wrote Karmeli, many people asked me, wow, Sanyam, this, what do you say, controlled passions. How you will write this? All the sexuality that appears in your novel is so easily readable. It is not put on. That's because I don't see lust in it. It is the love, pure love, and love for life. I think if every writer has pure love in his heart and compassion for the humanity, then I don't think it is difficult to be not popular, I would say, to be a good writer. Not that I am a good writer, I write, but to become a good writer, you have to be compassionate. That's the primary need of it.
His stories, and if you read Wait, in that you will realize that man-woman relationship, the relationship is the sexual part is also very sensuous and lot of tenderness. And when reader reads it, you don't feel yuck, or you don't feel, it's something natural, something which ripens and just falls down. Something entire process is so clear. In fact, I have read almost all books of Bhai, and I have realized that, from one book to another, his processes and his thought processes, his ideas, his style, everything is, jumping from one to another, going towards higher quality. And one of the books which you have to read is Jiudyung Kai Chamaru. Okay, and that is being translated by Jerry Pinto. So he is, I don't know whether he's going to speak about that or whether he's going to read. What are you going to do?
I was so delighted when I heard that I got the Jnanpith, and I invented my own shloka for him, Damodar. I won't do it because I go Jnanam Pitam Mauzo Vajondaram Govaram. Yay! That sort of thing. I was just doing it in my head, so happy that it had been given, I think, to someone who genuinely interacts. I think long before the global, local thing began to be said, Bhai took it upon himself to make his local the global. In the sense that every day, I think I'm so delighted for Daisy Rockwell, I'm so delighted for Gitanjali Shri, I'd be delighted if Bhai got the Booker tomorrow, but those are really peripheral and they're superficial. Really. Sigrid Undset, you've heard of her? She got the Nobel Prize. Okay? I managed to get 6 weeks in Norway to live in her house because I told the man who was from Norway that I read Sigrid Undset as a child, and he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that a grown boy had read Sigrid Undset. I'm only mentioning this because I'm thinking an award is wonderful, but really the book has to settle into the library of your heart. Once it's in there, then it is very nice if someone gives it an award. It's wonderful. But there are hundreds of thousands of books that have not got awards, right? So I think it is very important for us to, I remember Karmeli as a moment of change for me. There were details in it which were so specific, so vibrant, that this was not just an act of compassion for a woman who'd gone abroad and suffered. And she was a workhorse woman. Karmeli is a workhorse woman. I see them all over Goa. I see Susegad men and workhorse women. Like, the man is peaceable, and the woman is making pickle and getting the children ready and doing this and that and the other and sorting the fish and running every single thing, doing all the work. So my thing is, for me, Karmeli was an eye-opener. It was a kind of startling book that you suddenly realize shines light into this moment of a certain kind of life which we ignore, can consciously sort of wiped out from our heads. And in each successive book, I found these moments of illumination. So if I gets the Nobel Prize, I'll be delighted, and I'm hoping that he will. But if he doesn't, it's in my head. He's already a Nobel Prize winner. For me, he's already part of the canon. He's already important as a writer. And so I think this is what we need to do. We need to give our own Nobel Prizes inside our head to the people we love and to the books that we love. And if some jury, I've sat on juries, I know how these things are done. It's not important. Yeah? So I'm going to read just a short brief passage from the new novel. It remembers the work in progress.
Meanwhile, I can say, you see, I don't, not a single writer, I will say, write for awards. So I understand these feelings behind wishing me the best for Booker and Pulitzer and Nobel, but I would rather prefer not to get. Because Jnanapith I got about 4 or 5 months back, and I have not been able to write a single word since then. Haunted by other things. Anyway, so I don't want it. I want to devote whatever little time that I have to my writings. Now, over to Jen.
I'm going to read from the beginning because it's a trope that my family shares with this fictive family, which is an addiction to tea and a belief that when things are good, you drink tea. When things are bad, you drink tea. And when things are neither good nor bad, but just boring, you drink tea again. Because then that sort of generally calms things down. That urge for a cup of tea. I lit the gas and put the water to heat. Bubbles. Eureka. Bit my tongue before I could remember Archimedes. Arts and science had seemed like 2 separate silos to me. But when I learned how to make tea, I understood how deep the relationship between the two is. It did not matter to me how the tea became tea. Rather, I wanted to know what that tea was going to be like on my tongue. I could hardly wait before going through the motions. And then the cup raised to my lips, the first sips, the calm, the peace, through the body. Arey, I can smell tea. If you've made some, bring me a cup. My mother called from within. I added some water. This is a lovely moment in the Konkani where I translated it right now as gave it some bubbles. Because that's what we say, right? Gave it some bubbles. Obviously when I'm doing it again I'll think about it, but this is my first draft where I just let myself enjoy the language that it's come from and leave a bit of it there. Gave it some bubbles, a splash of milk and took it to her. She took a sip and made a face. The tea you were drinking smelled different. This isn't that tea. And there's not enough sugar. Very sensible woman. He's overboiled this tea. Yeah. I set my jaw, went to the kitchen and brought a spoonful of sugar and put it into a cup. I wanted to say, now stir it, diabetic, or must I do that for you too? But I stopped myself. She had always been lazy. To get her to move her body a bit, Daddy had never had a servant. Another thing in the grief I shared with this family. But her desire to be served hand and foot had not abated. She made the basic rice and curry and it was tasteless. Lovely, intelligent woman. Cook badly, they won't ask you to cook. In the kitchen, she had one eye on the television. To avoid her cooking, Daddy would eat out every day and then come home. Until the time I got to the SSC, I never had any tea. Somehow I got it into my head that children don't drink tea. Common thing, in India, children don't drink tea. Nor was I ever tempted to try. But then something happened to arouse my curiosity about it. I must have been 7 or 8 at the time. Late in the night, I was aroused from my sleep. At first I thought it was the dog next door. Then I realized it was Ma's voice coming from the next room. I could hear, no, please, enough. Daddy was growling, were they fighting? At this point I will leave.
Coming soon, Damodar Mauzo and Jerry Pinto, and that is going to be a great treat. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you so much for
Xavier!
starting the inaugural. Xavier, are you here? Please join us on stage, Xavier. Let's take a photograph. The fine translator of the book, Xavier Potter, is here. I didn't notice him earlier. Please come, Xavier. Let's take a photograph, please, together. Friends, the inaugural Liberty of Light Festival's first day programming is almost over. As you know, the evening programs begin at the old GMC at approximately 6 o'clock. There are going to be some wonderful things on stage at the old GMC complex on the first floor, starting at 6 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow's program begins at 8:30 sharp with a heritage walk in Konkani. The program in this hall begins at 10 a.m. Please take a look outside. You have the posted new program. Congratulations, Bhai. You mean so much to all of us, and you can be assured that your next book launch we will do in an even bigger way at the next Liberty and Light Festival of Goa. Jerry, you have only a few months to finish the translation.
I gave him a timeline.
Jerry has given the timeline.
Yeah, but just...
Congratulations. Please, let's take one photograph.
I just wanted to say one thing. When we started talking about the translation of the book, I told him the ones that I'm working on. I told him the schedules that I have. And I said, it's going to take time, but I'll do it next year by this time. And I got back the most beautiful email. It said, Dear Jerry, I was really disappointed to hear that you're going to take so much time. But when my wife says that there is some time to the food coming to the table, I know I have to wait because I want to enjoy that food. And I know that good food takes time and good translations take time. It was the most elegant acceptance of a delay that I have met. It was beautifully written. Thank you very much.
Yes, Sato Rebaji, please, Jerry. Let's get good.
Just a latecomer, my dear friend. Maybe I saw him late. This is Xavier Kota, my translator of most of my stories are translated by him, and I prefer his translations. So,
yesterday, a translator friend of ours won the International Booker Prize. That is Daisy Rockwell with Gitanjali Street. Next, I hope that we will get similar awards. This book deserves it. Please, it's on sale outside. Please get a copy. He is around today and later for him to sign it for you. Congratulations again, Bhai. Thank you for inaugurating the first Liberty and Light Festival of Goa in this grand fashion. Viva! Congratulations. Please hold the book.
And as an answer to, when people ask me, when young people ask me, what can I do? Things are dark. What can I do? When people ask me, the forces of darkness are gathering, what can I do? I say, what you can do is go out and support in a small way, in whatever way you can, the forces of light. Go out and buy a book by Mauzo. You will be supporting the forces of light. Thank you so much.
Yeah, one photo.
Come. A little close up, we will go. Come.
Maybe hold the book in front of you. Right as a okay.
Excuse me. Coming in my
The many uses of a water bottle.
No. He's the author. Book. Thank you. Congratulations.